So, now that we've brought the first laser beam back and opened up this main room a little bit, God, this room just sucks. It's awful. Not only is climbing it a gigantic pain in the ass, you hear that constant mechanical turning? It's non-stop in this room. I just absolutely hate it.
So basically, this is now a hate LP.
For the next couple videos.
Well, I mean, it's only fitting. The game does genre changes every now and then to try and switch things up in a vain attempt to be interesting, so why shouldn't we do the same?
Oh, also...
Yes, thank you.
Anytime you even vaguely approach the center of the room, Azrael's like, the beams. Reflect the beams. Or, only one more to go, War. Soon I will be free.
Great. Cool. Good. This is not at all annoying or ill-advised.
Geez, so yeah, basically, turns out literally Satan was actually a fairly decent guy and kept his promise, but watch this asshole turn out to fucking betray you at the last second once you free him.
I mean, this alone is, as far as I'm concerned, already constitutes a betrayal.
That's right, War. You're going to have to save me by going through this tower.
Honestly, I might have even forgiven the game for the rest of all that bullshit if you just like had to come back here and then he's like, oh, use the beams, just so that there would be a reason for you to do that, without it just having to intuit that that's what you're supposed to do. Game design.
Of all the things they've cribbed from Zelda, you didn't think they couldn't like get the mirror shield too, so you could just like manually redirect the beams yourself and skip all of this bullshit? Because, I mean, you got one of them there. All you need to do is just, like, line it up and, like, pop the other two seals with it, so...
It's good. It's like, the mirror shield is a great and sensible evolution of, like, a dungeon concept that is used to evolve a puzzle and introduce complexity and allow possibilities, and then you can organically discover further uses for it. Video games! But we can't have that here, apparently. We just have portals and elevator fights. Man, I feel bad about this now.
Did you really expect anything different?
I mean, until very recently, kind of. Like, this whole thing was going so well. Like, even when it was derivative, it was sensible about how it was being derivative, and even when it wasn't being particularly original, it was being breezy and entertaining.
Well, there's a video title for you. This whole thing was going so well.
Yikes. I mean, that might also turn out not to be true, but that's really more of a plot thing than a commentary thing. But yes, I guess it's true that I was vaguely at ease with how this was going until quite recently.
Anyway, this room is great, as I'm sure you can tell.
Yes, my favorite bit of the final dungeon of Jak and Daxter. The floor that falls out from under you and respawns randomly.
Well, it's not respawning randomly, it's following a path.
Yeah, it looks like it's going around in a cycle. Honestly, this is pretty Mario. Like, I'm pretty sure there are Mario levels that are just this. But of course, those levels don't have portals.
So what you're saying is that the next Mario game should introduce a portal gun.
I mean, honestly, that would kind of own. Like, Mario is the kind of series that I would expect would be able to get away with just lifting a mechanic from something else and then putting its own spin on it and doing it really well. Nice.
What the fuck killed you there?
This fucking bat spat a thing at me, and it sniped me when I was trying to skip half of the puzzle here.
Nice. That's what you deserve for sequence breaking.
That's what you deserve for suggesting that I wouldn't play Mario with portals. Who the fuck wouldn't play Mario with portals? That would rule.
Someone actually did do a ROM hack of the original Mario Brothers with the portal mechanic in it.
And why the hell not?
The only unfortunate part about it, though, is it's multiplayer.
Yeah. I honestly figure it'd be easier to make Mario in Portal than it would be to make Portal in Mario.
So this Wrath Shard is really sneaky. You do have a hint in as much as that there's a room over there, but that one is really hard to get to.
That one required you to think with portals.
So, speaking of the collectibles and the only collectible that really kind of matters, have you gotten the rest of the Abyssal armor yet, or...?
We have 8 out of 10 pieces.
And are the remaining 2 pieces in this dungeon, by chance?
One of them is in this dungeon.
Hooray!
Like, unspoken implication, there is more.
Yeah, there is one major area left after this, and then we're basically right at the final boss.
But is the remaining major area at least not this?
I am proud to tell you that it is not this.
Sweet.
So this is a mechanic that I didn't play Portal 2, so it might have been introduced there. But this is an interesting mechanic, because I don't think it's been anywhere else. But this is the first time that the game will ask you to shoot portals through portals.
Oh, that is absolutely not in Portal. Like, that's just categorically not in Portal. You can't do it.
Yeah, like, the only time you get, like, a third portal is if, like, there's, like, another portal gun, like, on, like, a turret or something. And even then, that's incredibly rare.
That doesn't really happen. What they did have is, in the co-op version, each player has their own pair of portals, so I think it's possible in co-op for one player to fire the portal gun through the other player's portals. I mean, frankly, if I was Valve, I would have made puzzles that rely on that gimmick.
Well, good news, because Vigil did.
But yeah, in this game, that makes absolutely no sense for that to be a... I mean, I guess if they went out of their way to establish that the gun is not shooting portals, but is shooting projectiles that make portals, and that the portals don't actually, like, appear in process until the projectile hits the surface, if you established and, like, exposited and tutorialized all of that, then it would make sense for you to be able to shoot portals through other portals. But they didn't. So, fuck it. It's bad. Can't respect it. Not even a tiny bit. It's bad. God, now I just want to play co-op Portal again. I guess that's an occupational hazard of playing a game that genre shifts into other things that aren't as good.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, like, there is one decent thing you can say about this section of the game, though. Hell, about the game writ large, is that it's one gigantic reminder of other games you would probably like to be playing that aren't Darksiders.
I mean, some of the things it did not that badly.
We talked a bit about this in the Ashlands, but the gist of it was basically that your ability to get away with reminding you of better games is dependent almost entirely on how well you are doing the thing yourself.
Yeah, that's, like, kind of a general rule of thumb in fiction, too. It's like, okay, like, don't reference better stories if your story kinda sucks. Because, again, it just reminds people that, oh yeah, I could be, like, reading or watching this thing instead of this piece of crap.
I mean, like, see Ready Player One for, like, that .txt
Yeah, that was exactly the example I was thinking of in my head when I was...
What if you had a story that was only references? Of course, it happens that I actually like most of this game, so it seems very unfair to compare it to Ready Player One, because when it was directly lifting from other, incidentally better games, it was still, like, pretty good overall. It's kind of, like, conspicuously not quite as good as the things that it was imitating, but it was good enough that that wasn't really a huge problem.
Vigil's got quite a lot more notes in their repertoire than Ernest Cline does, so...
Oh yeah. Like, this game actually has literally any style.
So this is a puzzle. I am going to mercifully speed this up for you because it takes far longer than it should, but you can probably see where we're going with this.
Yeah. Wow, it's the Prince of Persia big solar system model room combined with scales.
Yeah, so the end result, what we actually want is we need to get on top of the highest one, because when it goes all the way to the top, that'll let us reach the top area of this room. So we have to creatively move the boxes around so that we can jump, so that we can lower certain ones and then raise the others and get on top of this one and that one, and yeah.
I love that you opened the portal, like, right beneath that box, and it took its sweet-ass time trying to figure out if it actually wanted to fall into it or not.
I would not at all be surprised to learn that there was some extremely funky physics going on around these things. Like, physics in this kind of game is never just, oh, you push a thing and there's nothing below it, so it falls. It has to... Like, they would have had to manually do a trigger for it going over an edge, and then it just starts moving down, but then, like, a thing appears below it, and it can't, like... You can't just physics it into the hole, you have to figure out, oh, there's a hole close enough beneath it, let's just move it down.
Yeah, you've got to hitbox it into the hole more than physics it.
The whole thing is just hacks on hacks on hacks. What doesn't seem very clear right now is how these scales all relate to each other. Are there just two pairs?
There's three of them.
Oh God.
Well, I'm assuming that the things on the bottom are mirrors because they're angled at certain degrees that it looks like, okay, like...
Oh, we are absolutely bouncing a laser off these things, and it's going to be obnoxious as all fuck to get the beam through this room. I can feel it.
I can't believe that Crow, that you've looked ahead in this video, haven't you, Crow?
This part, no, honestly. I was like, okay, this is boring, and I just skipped over all of this.
I mean, I haven't looked ahead at all. I'm just literally reading the room. Like, I've searched my feelings. I know it to be true. There is going to be obnoxious laser bouncing in this room.
Also, I hope you like that little chain clanking sound, because that's just constantly going off in this room.
Why?
Saves money on the soundtrack.
You're welcome that I muted all of that for you.
Yeah, Jesus.
I'm just gonna quickly Google who the hell did the soundtrack for this game. God, I hope it's not Bear McCreary.
Well, there can't be that many more obnoxious puzzles left here, right? That was just like a rare misstep that we can now recover from, right?
Darksiders soundtrack done by 5 people. 5 people put work into basically just going dun 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 dun.
Yikes.
And thank God Bear McCreary or Raman Djawaldi were not among those 5 people. Because that would be a terrible misuse of their talents, because I know they do video game soundtracks now, so...
It's weird. Like, there's not a whole lot of music in this game, so you wouldn't think that. You would have thought it would have at least just been one guy phoning it in or something.
But yeah, no, it's literally 5 guys, and one of them is credited as a double act, so I don't know.
Do you know what game that I played that has the most weirdly misapplied soundtrack talent? It was SteamWorld Heist, which is a very good game in many respects. In fact, I would class it as an excellent game. And its soundtrack is done by like actual existing musical group that some people have heard of. They're called Steam Powered Giraffe. They make music. You can subscribe to them on YouTube. They're like actually popular. And somebody spent a probably not insignificant amount of money saying, hey, do a soundtrack for this game and like record 6 original songs and also like re-record 6 of your existing songs to like suit our game, and we'll put you in the game. And then when you play the game, it's like something like maybe 10% of your total playtime you will hear this music, and otherwise it's just some generic music. I don't understand.
Alright, so for Guardian number 2 here, we have a new gimmick. The portals are blocked off, and we have to have him break them.
That's a very engaging and entertaining gimmick. That's like wildly interesting and like endlessly mechanically applicable, and lends itself to many entertaining possibilities.
Hence the fast forward.
And I could barely even bring myself to say that in deadpan. Like, what is it? Was it always like this? Did I just not notice? Have I always actually hated this game?
No, I think, like I said, this dungeon I think is probably far and away the worst in the game, because it kind of goes to excess in basically every way.
And that's probably Vigil thinking, oh, okay, well, it's ostensibly the last dungeon of the game, so we've got to go all out on it.
And man, it's like, it's not even that an individual thing is bad. It's just that sometimes a thing in something that you've enjoyed is bad in a way that makes you feel as though you've never actually enjoyed it, like it's ruining it in retrospect, like the ending of Mass Effect 3.
Although, again, there's a mod for that.
Yeah, of course there is. Like, but I'm saying that's the thing. Something can be bad in a way that makes you forget that you enjoyed the same thing before.
Again, we were talking about the quote-unquote ending to Game of Thrones earlier before we started recording this.
Yeah. I have less perspective of any value on that one, but I can see how something similar might apply. I guess it helps that even though I haven't actually seen any of it, well, not any of it, I haven't seen the end of it, but I've been on the internet at any point since it aired, so I basically already know it.
Yeah, the wonders of cultural osmosis.
It rules. Don't worry, by the time the rest of the books come out, I'll have forgotten all of this, because it will be a decade.
Ha 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 ha! Books coming out, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I know, right? But allegedly he's gonna have himself arrested in New Zealand until he's finished the 6th one, so that's, like, happening.
Just cut the part where I started laughing and put it right back here again, okay?
Alright, will do.
Ha 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 ha! Books coming out, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Why is it that the one time I try to believe in something, it's just thrown back in my face like this?
Because this is 2019 and we live in Hell World now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well. So, like...
Anyway, now we get to repeat this puzzle by manipulating their position so that the mirrors bounce it back to the start of this area.
Oh, Christ, and I honestly thought that they would have, like, spared you this by, like, having it so that...
What? Why would you think that?
I know, fuck me, right? Like, I was thinking, like, okay, like, in the process of getting it so that it's lined up...
I was telling you! You didn't believe me!
Like, yeah, like, you would think, like, yeah, in the process of getting it lined up so that you could ascend it, it would also line it up so that the mirrors would work properly, because fucking God of War used to do stuff like that 15 years ago, but nope.
See, I think what you should do is you should just paste that clip of you laughing here again, except now you're laughing at yourself. Do it right here.
I can't believe I got owned by myself.
I was gonna say, that is a pretty big cell phone.
Man. That's the biggest cell phone than the iPhone Plus.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna go buy a massive cell phone to commemorate my massive self-own.
I know, right? But I beat you to the punch. And we don't even call them cell phones in my country.
Oh yeah, they're called mobiles, right?
Yep. The terminology is leaking slowly, but...
Better than Germany, where they call them handies. Mein Handy sounds vaguely dirty.
No, let's not. I mean, I know discussing this is going to be slightly more enjoyable than continuing to think about bouncing these lasers off of these things, but, still. Oh right, this mechanic, I still hate it. Did that not work?
Well, no, I had to reset it because of the order I put them up.
Now you're thinking with portals inside portals inside portals.
Now you're thinking with portals, except in a weird, arbitrary way that's never fully justified and that I can't respect. Also, what? Oh, it's just a floor. I thought it was like a thing reacting to you coming in here, but... No, that's just how this has always worked.
I'm kind of wondering now, okay, like, is it just doing this for, like, War himself, or, like, you know, like, when the random mooks come in, just, like, you know, coming on and off shift, does it do this shit for them, too?
Man, I'm beat, Steve. I'm gonna go home and... Oh, fuck. Who turned the mirrors on again?
They can just teleport through and, like, spawn into the floor and spawn out again. They can totally cheat. But yeah, I guess this is another one of those times when you don't want to think too carefully about video game environments. On account of madness lying that way. I can't tell what you're trying to accomplish here, by the way.
Oh, well, that floor spawned in just at the last second.
See, I'm having some clutch floor timing.
They go up and down in response to bullshit. What even is, like, we're not even in particularly nice directing a laser through a series of environments and, like, from one room to the next. It's just like we're just solving a bunch of sequential puzzles, and, like, the laser just charges up something, and then that thing just moves somewhere and starts firing the laser. It's tenuous. Don't like it. Can't respect it. at least in Portal we would have had like one continuous laser from the very start to the very finish, and it would probably feel like finishing an awesome set piece. Do you know what game had awesome, like, very long-distance laser start-to-finish set pieces that felt really cool when you've actually finished them? The Talos Principle. That was a game with some lasers in it. Also some puzzles. Also, now I think about it, God and the literal devil. Well then. That wasn't even a puzzle. That was just taking a laser on an elevator. Oh well, this is gonna rule, isn't it?
Fortunately, the bomb is right here, so...
I mean, the laser can't break that?
Well, no. Those are bomb rocks. That's not how this works, fool. We have to use the bomb on the bomb rocks so the laser can go in the portal that was behind it.
Thank you. Nice.
5th time's the charm.
You know, leading your shots is not particularly easy when you're trying to also maneuver around a circular platform.
I can, like, just barely kind of sort of appreciate that. And you got to love this kind of game design where you just get stuck in places and you just have to wait.
So, coming up after this, we are about to see the plot. So...
The plot?
Yes, the plot. Capital P plot.
The entire plot?
Is sick, Horseman. The Charred Council refuses to admit it, but those of us who look, we see. We had to do something. An open attack on the Dark Kingdom would violate the treaty. What you're proposing is madness.
Azrael, evil darkens every corner of creation. Heaven waits. The Council ties our hands.
To question them is to question the Creator. Do you believe you know better?
Yes, old friend. I do. When the seals are broken, Hell will send its chosen to declare battle rights. Their leaders will be gathered in one place, and there we will sever the head of the beast. The Hellguard stands ready.
Breaking the seals will trigger the end war. The kingdom of man is not yet strong enough. Earth will be destroyed.
There will be no war, Azrael. We will crush the Dark Ones before it's even begun.
The pact is a sacred covenant. Even in victory, we will face the wrath of the Council.
They will arrive to find the seals intact. And it will be our word, Heaven's word, against that of the Prince of Lies. Now do you see?
The seals will be reforged. All will believe that Hell's legions invaded and were delivered to justice by our hand. For the glory of the light, will you do this?
No, Azrael. You old fool.
We broke all but one. Abaddon ordered the final seal not be harmed. He protected it himself.
Are you certain?
Without question. We dared not involve the Horsemen. We never dreamed we would have to, until it was too late.
Yet I am to pay the price for your betrayal.
Treason! War. You will root out all involved and make them pay. Starting with this one.
No.
Fool! You deny the will of the Council?
You heard the Angel's confession. My service to the Council is ended.
We made you. We own you. We're not done until you find the Destroyer and shut him down. Balance, remember? Get up. Azrael lives until he stops being useful. After that, you will do your duty.
Well, you weren't kidding about that being the plot.
So it turns out that not only was there, in fact, a conspiracy the entire time, the Angels are actually the bad guys.
Wow. Angels being the bad guys in a, like, heaven and hell plot.
Yep, and it turns out basically, yeah, literally everyone involved in this plot horribly miscalculated. So, you know what? I think I'm actually on Mark Hamill's side here. Let's just kill this motherfucker already.
Hard same.